I think one of the unique things that we have is, and a challenge, is we basically have national marketing rights, yet 3/4 of those people don't come to our ballpark. So I think from a marketing strategy standpoint, we were always fearful to spend money nationally because it didn't always result in bums in the seats. And I think we've stepped back and been a little bit more intentional on realizing that we need to spend money in Vancouver, we need to spend money in Halifax. If we're going to claim that we are representing a country, we need to engage those fans in different ways. And I think being intentional is important. And I think the other thing we've really focused on is really knowing who our fans are. We've gone through extensive research just on fan segmentation in general, not only in baseball, but fan segmentation across Canada for baseball fans. And I think that's been an important process because you can't be intentional in your marketing without knowing who you're actually speaking to. And then further, not only who we're speaking to and who we're serving content to, but who's then actually purchasing and engaging. And then being okay to, I think, acknowledge that our engagement levels are not just purchasers. And I think that's been an organizational shift for us to realize that, if we are going to grow the game, that doesn't always mean bums and seats, and being okay with serving content to fans that are going to engage with us at a different level than just purchasing tickets.
Do you have a specific example you'd like to share in terms of how you've rethought about fan and fandom for the Jays, in terms of maybe is a good example for the conversation today around creative marketing strategies?
Yeah, I mean, I was just saying to Shannon, we did a winter tour, which was a big initiative under Paul, to kind of bring the caravan back and bring our players across the country. And when he brought this up to me 5 or 6 years ago, I literally rolled my eyes and said, "Are we really going to roll back the caravan?" And he said, "Yes, we're going to." And I think there was 2 things that came from that. One was just showing the country that we cared, and you might engage through Jamie or through Buck and Tabby, through our brand in the summer, but we're going to bring our players to you throughout the winter. And the crazy effect that had was it was less even just the reaction of the fans, but our players. And what I found was our players started to talk the language without us feeding it to them. So you would hear Kevin, talking about how great it is to represent a country, and people would look at us and say, "Did you tell him to say that?" And it was like, "No, actually, he's been on the winter tour the past 3 or 4 years and had maybe some fun in Halifax," which we're okay with. But I think that was the first part. And then the second part was then looking at, well, then what are we doing for our local fan? And with Mark coming in, we had to educate him. He came from Cleveland, and he's the first to acknowledge that, he was an American running a team that's representing a country. And I give him a lot of credit for taking some steps back and really trying to understand our market and our country. And but he also pushed us for what are we doing for the local fan. And I was saying to Shannon this morning, we're running a fan festival, a winter festival, that's costing us a lot of money. And then when you sit in front of a table of finance executives, they want to know what's the return on investment, and the return on investment is fan engagement. Because if we actually added the dollars per fans that enter the event, there's no real return. But we're looking to stay relevant in a market that is a hockey-driven market right now, and we're aware of that. And I think we need to be intentional in how we're servicing our fans, and be okay with the fact that we know we're not the number 1 sports team right now in the city, and we're okay with that because we know how we're engaging our fans and we're intentional in what we're doing. And I think that's been a big, big, big shift for us the past couple of years.